Graham, and now I'm live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. It's your intrepid songwriter here, chronicling my adventures as a songwriter. Because seriously, who does that? Nobody does that. Okay? Nobody tells you what that songwriter's life is really like. Nobody tells you because they're not out here living it. I'm out here living that songwriter's life. Okay? So that's why I can give you the real deal, Holyfield. Now, what we're going to talk about today is split sheets again. And the reason that they're so important and the reason that I'm talking about them again is because I keep getting people that run into the same situation, and they run into the situation of they didn't use a split sheet, they didn't get those rights together when they finished co-writing the song. If you co-write a song with anyone, you better have a split sheet. Okay? You better have a split sheet. And a split sheet lists the time and the days that you wrote. A split sheet lists if the song was recorded or not and by whom. Now you can get one off my website. So go to theintrepid.songwriter.com and click on free stuff, and you can download a split sheet if you don't already have one. The split sheet will list the identifying information for each writer, so you know who did what. The most common question I get is when people say, what if they make a beat and somebody else makes some lyrics, or vice versa? What if they get a beat from someone and then they write some lyrics? Okay, I'm going to tell you something that you may not know. You should know, but you may not know it. There's a difference between copyright rights and royalties. That's where people get confused. When you co-write a song with someone, it does not matter how much of the song you wrote in terms of copyright. That's where I know people get confused. So when people say stuff to me like, I own half the copyright in the song, no, you don't. Because you don't split a copyright in half. Copyright doesn't work that way. I don't care if that other person wrote all the words and you only wrote 2 words. I don't care if that other person did the whole beat or whatever and you just did some hi-hats. If you participated in the creation of a song, the law calls you a co-owner in a joint work. A co-owner in a joint work. And what that means is that you have the same copyright rights in the song as the other writers. That is not based on how much of the song you wrote. And that's where I believe people get completely confused. So copyright is not just one thing. Copyright is a set of rights. The copyright consists of 7 individual rights: the right to reproduce, the right to distribute, the right of public performance, the right of public display, the right of digital audio transmission, the right to make a derivative work, and the right of first use. Those are actually your 7 rights of copyright. If you have anything to do with the creation of a song, the law says that you have all those 7 rights of copyright, just like everybody else that participated in the writing of the song. It is not based on how much of the song you wrote. It's based on if you participated in the creation of the material, no matter how much or how little you did. What is based on percentages is royalties and payments. That's what the split is, not copyright rights. So on your split sheet, on the split sheets on my website that you can download for free, theintrepid.songwriter.com, you can write in how much of the music you wrote and how much of the lyrics you wrote. So when it's time for the royalties and the money to be divided up, you've already settled on your splits. So the way you determine that, because a lot of people don't know that either, is if you're talking about lyrics, you have to count the lyrics and then take the number of lyrics you wrote and divide the total number of lyrics by the number of lyrics that you wrote to get a percentage. That's your percentage of ownership in the lyrics, and that's your percentage of royalty distribution rights in the lyrics, not copyright. If you're trying to divide up the music or the beat or whatever, you take the parts of the music that you wrote and you take how long is the track. How often does the part that you wrote appear in that 3-minute, 30-second period or 2-minute period or whatever? And then divide that out to find the percentage of the music that you are responsible for. That's not copyright, that's royalties. That's how you figure out, based on who wrote what and how much you wrote, how much money you're actually supposed to get when the royalties start coming in. And I know people get confused on that. Now, you can make just a general deal 50-50, so if you don't want to worry about stuff like that. And so when you co-write with someone, just say we're going to split it in half. So sometimes you'll write more, sometimes they'll write more, but sometimes people just do that. But if you want to make a split based on how much of the song you wrote, that's how you figure out how to do it. And you put that on the split sheet so that when the money starts coming in, you know who gets what distribution. See, that's not copyright rights. Because if you wrote 90% of that song, if you wrote 10% of the song, once you contributed to the creation of the song, you have the right to reproduce it, the right to distribute it, the right to public performance, the right of public display, the right of digital audio transmission, the right to make a derivative work, and the right of first use. You have them same 7 rights, no matter how much or how little of the song you wrote. So that means once you write a song, you can immediately go and do a remix. And the funny thing about the law, if you do a remix based on that original song that you co-wrote, you only have to split the royalties on the original song. When you make your remix, that's considered a derivative work. You do not owe them any royalties for that. That's all you, so you get to keep all that. It's the most amazing thing. Okay? So that's why you need to book a session with me, so you understand all this stuff, because you do not split a copyright. Okay? No matter how much or how little you wrote of the song, you all have the same 7 rights. What you split is royalties. And the royalties are based on how much of the music you wrote and how much of the lyrics you wrote. Now, here's another little wrinkle. If you are a voice on the track, if you're singing or rapping on the track, that doesn't give you copyright rights. If you didn't write it, then you don't have a copyright interest in the song, the PA. You might have a copyright interest in the recording if you recorded it in your studio and or you paid for the recording. But if you're a voice on the track, the way you get paid is through Sound Exchange. Sound Exchange is the organization that pays the people that rap and sing on the tracks. ASCAP and BMI are the organizations that pay the people that wrote the song and own the PA or the composition copyright. So, like you hear me say it all the time, you must figure out how many hats you wore in the creation of a song, and then that's what's going to determine what you own and what you get. And that's why you need a split sheet. So you can work all that out at the time of the writing. If you don't work it out at the time of the writing, then somebody's going to come back later and claim more of the song they wrote, I guarantee you. They're going to come back and say, well, if you think about it, I wrote the whole hook. This song is basically mine anyway. That is exactly what they're going to say. Count on it. I know you think you can trust your ride or dies. I know you think you can trust people you've known your whole life. I know you think they're not going to do me dirty like that, but yes, they will. If there's some real money on the table, yes, they will. They will cut you out, take your portion, and try to keep all the money and the credit for themselves. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. So you need a split sheet. I don't care what level you are at your career. When you co-write, now if it's just you write by yourself, then it's all good. But if you co-write with anyone, you need a split sheet. Don't you ever co-write with anyone again without getting a split sheet. So go to my website, theintrepid.songwriter.com. Click on free stuff. And on the free stuff, you can download a split sheet that you can use wherever you want. All right, that's it for this week's video. Thanks for joining me live. Thanks to all of you that watch on the replay. I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to tell you all the stuff I wish they told me when I started out. I'm trying to make sure you don't work for 10 or 20 years and end up broke. And to do that, you got to be on your game. And anybody ever going to give you this game like Intrepid Songwriter is going to give you this game. All right? I'll see you next week. Intrepid Songwriter, out.